The movie begins with scenes of spaceships landing and astronauts living in space. At a top-secret lab, somewhere in Russia, two scientists Sergei and Alyosha are discussing their latest experiment. Sergei is surprised by the rapid development, saying that they devour anything he throws to them. He notes that they even learned to speak Russian. Before them, a pool is covered with lasers. A warning then appears on the computer. A few minutes earlier, while feeding his experiments, Alyosha frightened him, causing him to drop the bucket, which fell into the pool. As a result, the scientists realize that their experiments, humanoid sharks, have broken through the barrier. Sergei sounds the alarm and the other scientists evacuate the lab. Behind them, the shark monsters catch and devour the slow and dumb ones, like the scientist who thought her heels would make good weapons. Sergei and Alyosha bolt to a nearby spacecraft, with the monsters deciding to chase them. Sergei's plan is to fly the monsters into space once they load into the ship, but the countdown is set for 1 minute, so Alyosha decides to sacrifice himself. He tries using a flare, which gives him a few seconds to light a cigarette as the monsters rip him to pieces. The countdown reaches a few seconds and the spacecraft lifts into space with Sergei and the sharks on board, heading for the moon. Present day, a NASA space crew is doing flight prep for their launch into space, countdown set for 9 minutes. The flight crew, led by Commander Nicole Tress, all give green light for takeoff, but their engineer, Gilmore, suddenly feels ill. The doctor, Owen, checks her out and determines that she has appendicitis, declaring her not fit to launch. Nicole radios to Mission Control for a possible launch delay, but Control explains that a delay now would push them back 6 months. Mission Control decides to swap out Gilmore for another crew member, who makes a main character entrance. With the replacement on his way, Mission Control orders the ship named Tabula Rasa to prepare for launch, and the pilot, Ellie, does her routine, citing how she is excited to be going to the moon. The replacement steps in, an engineer named Michael, who obviously has some friction with the crew and Tess. The ship finally sets off, breaking through the atmosphere and into space. Michael activates the artificial gravity, and crew member, Tom, confirms that they have 68 hours until they get to the moon. Quite a slow spaceship. With the ship on autopilot, Tess heads to the lab where scientist Josie is working on a new type of energy that will be used to sustain a colony on the moon. Josie is excited about the prospects of cities on the moon, when Tom reports electromagnetic disturbance which will force them to change their landing spot. He has tried to report to Mission Control, however the interference makes it impossible. The Tabula Rasa is nearing the moon. Tom and Ellie are preparing to descend, but the ship is thrown off course. The crew scramble to get the ship back on course, but Michael reports that the system is fried. Tess then orders him to reboot the ship, which he does, but they are still heading to the far side of the moon. Ellie then brings the ship to a rough landing on the moon's surface, but the landing has locked the astronauts out of the ship's controls. Tess needs to find a way back to Earth, and the team report that they crashed into the only relay satellite on their way in, which would be their only way to communicate with Mission Control. Owen reports that they have 6 months worth of oxygen, and the cook, Liam, says the food should last as long. Seeing that they are not sure how long they will be stranded on the moon, the crew conclude that if there are no hull breaches or emergencies, they will be just okay. There is a rover about a mile away from the ship, so Tess decides to take Michael and Henri to recover parts to use to repair the Tabula Rasa. Liam offers to tag along, citing his expertise in electronics as well. Tess leaves the other members to gather diagnostics on the damage for when they return. The 4 astronauts then step out into the moon and get to the rover. Liam gets the parts but begins to have a nosebleed, an injury from the landing. He then spots something moving quickly under the surface of the moon, heading towards them. Tess thinks it's volcanoes until they see fins. The astronauts try to run, but a massive shark grabs Liam. Another shark wearing pants tries to get them but blows up. The team realize someone had set a trap and are shocked to see a man and a woman on the moon, wearing no moon gear. The man, an old Sergei, welcomes them to the moon, thinking that they are here to rescue him. When he realizes they are not there for him, he is angry that after 40 years nobody would come to save him, but his daughter, Akula, tells him to not give up hope. Tess tells them that she would be happy to take them back to Earth after fixing their ship. The astronauts then realize that Akula has what looks like a fin on her back. Sergei explains that Akula is his adopted daughter. Tess needs to know more information about them, like how they're breathing, but Sergei tells them there is no time as they need to go. Tess plans to lead them back to their ship, but Akula thinks they may be followed back, which could destroy their only chance back to Earth. Sergei then decides to lead them back to his base for the time being, telling them about his rover nearby. At Sergei's ship, Nicole and Michael suit up in the so-called advanced suits and drive to the shark base. They stop at a distance and decide to continue the rest of the way on foot. Michael asks Sergei about the shark trap earlier, noticing that when the shark was on its back it could not move, and Sergei explains that's called tonic immobility. Akuya then stops them, sensing something. In the distance, they see the shark base with lava flowing out of the ground. Akuya shows them where they can enter to get to Nikolai, but a shark man attacks them. The team battle until Akuya is able to bring it down with questionable skills. Ellie and Owen are following Nicole's tracks when she spots something, only to see it's a piece of Liam. They get spooked and try to run away, but Owen is taken and eaten. Nicole then runs away calling for help, must be from God. A shark man then grabs her and eats her. No God on the moon. Back at the ship, Tom and Josie have found a way back to Earth, but they need to leave in the next 6 hours so they do not miss the launch window. Tom tries to reach out to Tress on the radio but gets no response. This gives away their location and the sharks close in. Michael, Nicole, and the 2 Russians have made their way into the Sharkman base. They walk until a large Sharkman comes charging at them. Akula and Nicole manage to take it down. Michael wants to kill him, but Sergei decides to question him about Henry's location. The Sharkman instead causes himself to bleed to attract the other guards, making them regret their decision. Akula finishes it off before the crew is able to locate Henri, who warns them that the sharks are planning to use the ship to transport their eggs. They need to get back to the ship quickly, so they grab Henri and try to run for it, but the sharks begin to give chase. They get to the shark's egg incubation chamber and Michael wants to end them now, seeing the opportunity to save Earth, but Akula claims they are innocent children. The shark babies begin to sound an alarm, so Akula tells the others to go while she stays behind. She is confronted by Zarina, who tries to get Akula to join her, saying she is the bridge between humans and sharks, but Akula turns her down because the Sharkmen abandoned her when she was younger, leaving Sergei to raise her. Akula vows to stop Zarina's plan, but Zarina gives her the choice to join them or be left behind on the moon. Zarina then summons a massive shark to attack the team who came back to Akula, so Michael decides to blow the shark babies up. Back on the ship, Tom and Ellie come under attack, feeling the ship shake. The 2 run to get suited up, and Ellie warns that they need to protect the life support. The Sharkman pulls the door open with incredible strength. Akula confronts Michael for the babies, but Nicole stops her from attacking before they continue to the rover. As they try to drive away, a massive moon shark begins to chase them, but Akula spears the beast, causing it to run away. They manage to make it back to the ship to see the door ripped open. Inside, the team see no one and decide to search around. They come upon a dead Sharkman and Tom and Ellie hiding in a corner. They explain that the other went out to search for them but have not returned. The team need to leave the moon immediately and need to start repairs, but the Sharkmen return in large numbers and begin attacking. Henri then decides to go out and sacrifice himself due to feeling guilty for giving away their location, and nobody at all stops him. His plan is to draw the sharks away from the ship on 1 foot, giving the team enough time to get the ship fixed. Henri suits up and tries using an oxygen tank as a propellant, but he is caught and then tank blows up. Nicole wastes no time mourning and the team plan their way home but realize that they only have 24 minutes before their launch window closes. Sergei has finished fixing the ship, but the Sharkmen return with their eggs and decide to board the ship. Tom has to keep the flight plan safe, so they decide to hide and ambush the sharks when they can. Ellie is in the lab when a Sharkman comes in. She tries to hide but is eventually caught. Tom tries to grab the flight plan but is killed by a massive shark. When Michael finds his body, the shark attacks him and is about to end him, when Nicole and the others decide to surrender even though they have the upper hand. They are captured and taken to a room where Zarina reveals that they will take Akula to Earth to be their leader. She had planned to leave baby Akula at Sergei's ship, so they could keep track of her and everything went according to plan. Nicole tries to reach out to Zarina's better side, but she ignores her. The Sharkmen then launch the ship to head back to Earth. The team are trying to find a way out while a large shark prepares to end them. Henri returns to save them but ends up being eaten. Nicole kills his attacker and sees Tom's USB with the flight plans and wants to use Sergei's ship to get back to Earth. They break out of the room and manage to jump from the lifting ship, but Akula is cornered by Zarina. She tries calling for her bodyguard, but he is dead. Akula manages to knock Zarina from the ship and she lands unconscious on the moon. They want to end her, but the other Sharkmen come attacking to save their queen. Sergei leads them through a minefield and many sharks are killed. He reveals that he has a plan to end the sharks by flying into the core of the moon and setting off a bomb that will shoot magma into the air and destroy the ship. They get back to Sergei's ship and they try to stop him from going through with his plan as it will kill him. Akula is in tears, but Sergei reassures her that this is the only way. CG needs a distraction, so Nicole and Michael head out to battle the Sharkmen. Sergei puts on some music and starts up his old Soviet ship. Sergei leads the ship into the lava at the Sharkmen's base, which releases a precise magma blast that destroys the ship and Sharkmen. The blast is so massive that it sends Michael, Nicole, and Akula flying straight to Earth, which took 64 hours from the Earth to the moon. Akula is glad to be on Earth, but starts feeling pains. Turns out, she is pregnant and gives birth to multiple shark babies. She then dives into the water, leading to Nicole to realize they are in a deep mess. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.